Yes, people. Bit of a mess. Looking at that, all up there. Bit of a mess. Hello. Hope you're doing all right. In fact, what am I doing? I need to turn it round that way. Swap my camera around. Yes. Yes. How you doing, people? Evening, Catherine, Christopher. You doing all right?
Hold up. Hold up.
Yes, everyone, thank you for jumping on. How we doing? Hope we're keeping mentally strong. Yes, Gary. Blue Moon, Jason. Yes, Crafty Cotner. How we doing? Blue Moon, Red Devil, Bread and Circus. We're all Mancunians, aren't we? Definitely all Mancunians. So it don't really matter. We can take sides on competitive sport, but when something else manifests from it, Jesus, I watched that game last night. It was a cracking game. To be fair, I didn't think I'd enjoy the game. I didn't think I'd even get through the second half of the game. I wasn't looking forward to it. Although we did have a confident game against Tottenham, so it bred confidence leading into that game. And when I did see that incident, I actually didn't realise about the monkey chanting. What caught my attention was one of the United players that actually got lighters through. There was multiple lighters where the corner flag was. Yes, yes, Graham. How we doing, guys?
Stages in my yeah.
How we doing? Thank you for jumping on. Thank you very much. Bread and Circus. It's a game that's supposed to be distract people from all the seriousness of life. So it's a game that's supposed to be designed to kind of take your eye off the multitude of failings and the wrongdoings that are done in your life, make you switch off, make you forget all about it, albeit competitive, albeit designed to get back to behind your team. But is a trend for humming with all the division and all the polarization that's going on. Are we going to see more of this? Is there a rhetoric brewing that is making people divide between skin tones, never mind between faiths? We've always had this kind of shit. We've always had this kind of banana throwing escapade on certain games in Europe, in our country in the 60s, early 70s. Did I have to mention Tottenham? Of course I do, mate. United don't get many successes at the moment, so I've got to. And normally, as you know, guys, I don't make this channel or chats regarding football. Love the Rose mix, mate. First time I've watched it. Oh, yes. I'm glad you like that. I'm glad. I'm so glad. And thank you to Rose English for sending me that clip, because you know what? When she sent me that clip, she didn't have any pretext. She just sent me a song that she remembers. and she can correlate with what's going on in terms of handling information as opposed to that song. And I listened to it. It was the first time I'd heard it. I'd never heard it before. Don't remember it when I was a child. But my God, I was on the verge of tears for so many different reasons why that tune hit me. And Rose didn't know it. And I said to Rose a couple of days later, Rose, I'm using that tune for something else. And I sent it Rose just before I uploaded it, and Rose said she bloody loved it. So I went, right, upload that baby. It was off topic, but at the same time it was very much on topic. What I was really surprised about was one comment. Some knobhead, that's all I'm going to say, because it actually justified the point of the actual video itself. He thought it was that off topic that he put fucking rose garden like that, as if to say, what are you doing a video about this for? But the way he put the low frequency comment out, negating how much work that had gone into it, negating the point that was trying to be made within it. It might not be a documentative, informative video, but it's a video that will make you think if you take your ass, give it time to watch it, you know. Bro, I'm Spurs too. Yes, Stuart. Same here, mate. Same here. Hi, Stu. Roger Miller, I didn't know I was racist until media, along with MPs like Lammy, told me. Should I end my friendship with my black and brown friends? Just apologise and pay them for my sins? I think you know the answer, mate. I think that is exactly what you need to do. And when you're paying them, if you don't pay them in shrapnel, if you pay them in the large nominations of paper, promissory notes, I'm sure they will appreciate that than you knocking on their door with a bag of fucking loose change. Because not only are they oppressed as individuals, they've been victimized, that they don't want to sit there for the next 3 years counting out your twos and bleeding ones. So if you could really just get all your notes together. Yes, Stu. Most people are fine with each other. Colour makes no difference. The problem is that the PC brigade cannot handle this, so build unnecessary PC boundaries that are extreme left, so can accuse people of racism. I'll say it again. I've said it a couple of times, and this is something that I have developed. Love you, Phil. Run for PM. Oh, Stuart. Speak sense and for our boys and girls in the forces. Stuart, I love everybody, and I will say this again. I am a mixed race individual that has grown up through all the negative and positive things that could happen to anyone. Because of the polarization, at some points of my life, I bought into the fact that racism is true, it is real, and I somehow am feeling the brunt of it. You can't get away from that. That is information that is inputted over your years growing up that makes you steer your mentality one way or the other. What it stops you doing is thinking on a fundamental level that when you were born, when you're in a maternity ward, and there's half a dozen other babies of whatever ethnicity, whatever descent and background, whatever slight percentage mix within that baby, there is no construct of race at all. When the kid is growing up 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly maybe not so much now, particularly before the school years, there is no construct of race. The only construct is what is brought in. The only construct is what is brought in via information, which then, you could argue, through a grooming process or through a non-factual or a non-balanced process, from a conformity bias process, affects every individual on what demographic it might be. Liverpool and Manchester, forget race. Oh, Jesus Christ, is that a direct question? As in what, who do I prefer, Liverpool or Manchester? It's a big ask for, I can't answer that, mate. Fit like Phil chat. Yes, yes, Candy. Hello there. We all bleed the same. What the fuck? It's true, mate. It's true. Unfortunately, at the same time that you've got common sense comments like that, and we get it, and that's why I love my subs, and that's why I felt I could do this, and no one's starting going to jump, because it's not. We're all heightened to this kind of sense of we're feeling that we're being picked on at this moment in time, which is going to make a recoil. I mean, let's look at it this way. The guy who done that, the guy who's now been arrested, the guy who's now been suspended from his employment, almost certainly will get the sack. His life is going to be ruined over that now. I wouldn't want that. And I am a mixed race individual that is fucking sick of people going on a base level and treating you like that. I'm sick of it. However, I don't believe in racism as a construct. Anyone who displays racism towards me, I almost not so much feel sorry for them, but feel it's some form of pity, because they are buying into a construct that is false. And it's not so much that I forgive them, but there's an element where I can't truly blame them, because I personally know better. So for me to react in the opposite way to them, Newtonian physics, as it were, every reaction has an opposite and equal reaction, I myself would then be buying into the racist construct. So that fucks me off in a way, pardon my French, because it means if someone comes up to me and starts going, starts doing all monkey chants and just calling me a nigger, a black bastard, it means that I've got a higher self. And I know that I feel for that guy, because that guy's bought into whatever rhetoric that makes him feel like that. But for me to buy into it, I'm just as bad as him. And I am keeping that cycle going. But yeah, I've got every right to tell him what I think about him. I've got every right to react to that. But by doing it, I'm keeping the cycle going. So whether it's a question of bigger and better, I don't even know what it is. I just don't buy into it. I don't drink the Kool-Aid. And it saddens me over this movement that what I'm seeing in slow traits is an emergence of that attitude, which will then isolate people. It will segregate people. Now, if you think, for me, people might think I'm overthinking, but if you think a drip drip, you could argue that we are going to end up, at least in the mind, if not physically out on the streets, we're going to end up with a situation where we've got mental segregation. I mean, we're getting to the point now where we're mentally segregated now. We're now using rhetoric to dehumanize from one demographic to another. So it means that they can become an object of ridicule. They can be isolated. You know what I mean? So when will the real segregation come back then? So when you've got your Rosa Parks on the bus that chose to sit down on a bus that she wasn't supposed to sit down on, are we going to head back to that, where the distaste of even being around a black person is going to be more heavily promoted because of the rhetoric of the Great Replacement? This is what's worrying. And then the people that are promoting this rhetoric have got the most distaste for Jewish people, actually agree with Hitler's teachings. It's so fucked up. So when you think that you get, pardon my French, you get to a point of a banana being thrown at you, you get to a point of someone doing monkey chants on a political level that's supposed to be a game of bread and circus, a game that is supposed to make you forget about all that, make you just to think about your team. But yet, that competitive sport, which football, compared to any other sport when it comes to fan base, is fascinating in terms of the combat nature and the way people act within football in terms of fans. The amount of disregard that some fans display against the other team, which is natural if you want your team to win. But yet, same again, it's almost like divide and conquer, which it is. United City, City United. It's two-way. It's one way of splitting a city of Manchester clean in half, or clean whatever percentage. So it works. You have the average derby, where you will get the emotions that are heightened that much, where you will get the odd City fan or the odd United fan that will kick the living shit out of another opposing team, whether it be a City or United, just because of the colour of the shirt. Not the colour of the skin, the colour of the bleeding shirt. And it's ridiculous. Same as Birmingham and Villa. You're right, there's so much rivalry that it goes beyond just the football. We like that, we buy into it. But yet, there's a horrible nature that is kind of an open secret that we know it brings out the fucking ugly out of people. Pardon my French. But yet, I see it. I see rugby, which for me is more of a combative sport. It's more physically in your face sport. But yet, it comes across as one of the most decent, respectful sports. I don't know whether this is still true, but I think you can still have different fans mixing with one another as well. I don't follow rugby. I know there's two different forms of rugby. It might be one over the other one. So I'm sure someone will enlighten me on that within the comments section. So there's an element of, I know it's a working class sport, football. Is that indicative of a working class mentality? So it's bringing and dragging out. So bring a political forum into a working class sport, and then, hey, presto, the bananas are going to come out. Because you're bringing your rawest elements of how people feel of the polarized nation. Mix that in with the fact that, you know what, you're United, I'm City, so that gives me the right to kiss my badge, put my fingers up to you, and call you a wanker, do all gestures, and totally dehumanize you, just because you're sat in another stand over there. There's something very sick about it. There's something very twisted. You know what I mean? And I love football, and I'm not criticizing the game per se. I think, honestly, in a way, the game back in the day didn't really do a lot to kind of combat this. I think now they are making strides to combat it, but there's only so much you can do when you've got a proletariat that are being emotionally wound up on a racial element. So this goes back to what some people are always saying. PC culture has got to be broke down, because if you don't break it down, it's going to heighten the emotions and animosity against demographics, that you're going to get more of this shit. You're going to get pardon my French, you're going to get rhetoric that is going to become fashionable from the far regions of both left and right politics, that is going to become acceptable. That's my fear. That's my prediction. And I hope I'm wrong. But with everything I see, I've got no reason to believe that that is not a reality. I've got no reason whatsoever. Missing comments left, right and centre. Rugby, if you misbehave, you were punished by the club. I know the respect that is demanded from the referee, or of the referee, but then again of the players in terms of their conduct towards the referee. Considering these guys are 6 foot by 6 foot, they've got fucking ears all over the place, the noses are across the face, they've got arms bigger than my breathing legs, you know what I mean? And it's like, wow, this doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So it is a discipline. Otherwise, you'd get, I respect, I don't like boxing per se. I respect the discipline that is boxing for people who truly honour that sport for what it is. Seriously do. I personally don't agree with a sport where you've got two people knocking the shit out of one another. I don't agree with it. But that, fair play. it's each to their own. They do what they want to do. I think it's a bit barbaric and a bit Victorian now, but I can get it on a kind of combative level. You know what I mean? As a discipline, as someone who has been brought off the streets who then maybe finds a boxing trainer, and then instead of going to work with his local street gang selling drugs and whatever else, he then goes through this discipline program of learning the art of boxing. Fucking beautiful. Uses the skill in a wise way, doesn't abuse it, don't go around thinking he's 10 men. That is how it should be done. That is the honourable way, you know? Forget about all the commercialisation and everything else, but we're going off topic here somewhat, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. G-Cut, rugby is a folks game played by gentlemen. It's one way of putting it. I don't get it. I don't get it. When I see people going under them challenges, I'm like, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Seriously, anyone does any challenges like that on me, I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Not over just a fucking a ball, getting a ball over a line. You ain't killing me just to get a ball over a line. And I don't want to kill you to get it over either. Fury got robbed. I didn't watch boxing, so I don't know. I'm not a boxing fan. I know there would have been a lot of interest over last night. I didn't even know about it till the early afternoon. I'm sure the whole world and its dog was watching it. But let's face it, you've got a lot of black people in boxing, you've got a lot of black people in football, you've got a lot of white people in boxing, and got a lot of white people in football. No matter who you are on this planet, you'll probably love football and boxing, American football, cricket. There's white and black in it all. That's the point where you forget the race card. You forget that you are an individual. It's on your deeds. It's on your character. So it's a question of your fans, your supporters will appreciate you and will clap you because of how far you can whack that corky ball or how many goals you can get. It's irrelative what colour of the skin. It's irrelative of what your heritage is. It's just a sad thing that you see politics creeping out. You see a game that is bred in circus that is becoming political. Daley Thompson. Yeah, Daley Thompson used to get it a hell of a lot. It was pretty bad back then. Pretty bad. There was a lot of footballers that used to get it, but society was more racially charged back then. It's not that way now. My fear is that it's getting that way. And inevitably will run off into other social things, games, this, that, and the other. And it will become, you can imagine, carries on the way it will. Won't be long before you have schools that will have one side of the class, who the whites would rather just mix with themselves, and then the blacks would rather mix with themselves. You do feel it is edging towards going back to that. Now, whether that's what people want, it's not, it's up to you, but I can see it. It's always been like that up here, Rangers Celtic anyway. Oof, Rangers Celtic. I mean, that's more sectarian, that's more fucking... Same with what goes on with Ireland, with the Orange Marches. That's more like holy war, isn't it, really, when it comes to Celtic and Rangers, or at least that's how I perceive it. It's like Protestant Catholic, that is literally it. It's not green and fucking blue. It's literally, you believe in that as a faith, you believe in that as a faith, so Jesus Christ, it's crazy. I mean, the Orange Marches stemmed from a Dutchman that conquered that ground, and because of that Dutchman, the amount of animosity now, I'm not saying it's his fault, he might have done right fucking invading, pardon my French, but look at the shit that it causes having one march, flying a flag that is orange. It's fucking crazy, pardon my French, and pardon me keep castigating the French when I swear, I've got to sort that out. Shut up. Up the Rangers. You're wrong, Phil. What am I wrong about, mate? What am I wrong about? You kind of put comments out, but you don't explain. So if you feel I'm wrong, what do you feel I'm wrong about? It's only an opinion, but I've no idea what you're talking about. And to say shut up, really? If you don't like what I'm saying, don't really go on the stream. Come off the stream. But it'd be nice if you could explain where I'm going wrong, or where you feel I'm going wrong, instead of just going, you're wrong, shut up. So I'll await for your comment, pal. Britain had little to do with the situation in Ireland. Don't ask me. I don't know whether that was aimed at me, but I never said for 1 minute that Britain had anything to do with what was going on in Ireland at all. I actually said it was over something that a Dutch conqueror had done. Whether he was right or wrong to do it, I don't care. I don't give a shit. I'm just saying what actually happened. Is it William of Orange? So I'm not making him a good guy or a bad guy. I'm just stating what absolute fact is. I'm not saying it was because of us or not because of us. About Ireland, pal. What about Ireland? You see, same again. You're not saying what it is. If you could just say it in a clear, concise sentence, mate, what it is you think I was wrong about. That's all I'm asking. I don't need 4 comments for you to tell me. I just need 1 comment. It didn't happen. What didn't? Seriously, mate, please just give me 1 comment with a concise amount of words, preferably under 20, as to why I'm wrong. I don't need to read it over 4 or 5 comments, as I'm going to skip over it. I'm going to talk about something else. Seriously? What the UK done to Ireland is nothing compared to what the EU is doing. Same again. I'm not even referring to what the UK and in the involvement of what has happened with Ireland. I am talking about the sectarian shit that goes on over an orange flag. It's nothing to do with England. It's nothing to do with me as such. I'm just mentioning it in terms of the football, because in terms of teams, people draw sides. That's the only thing I'm making. Now people are jumping on and going on. Seriously? Open a can of worms. You're damn right. Bloody hell. Divide and conquer again. Okay, but I haven't enough time. You haven't enough time? But you've got enough time to spend 6 comments that you think I'm wrong, but you haven't got enough time to write 1 comment to tell me where I'm wrong. Talk about little girl shoes. Fuck this. I need light. It splits families. You're damn right. It splits streams. Chill, Phil. I'm chilled. Chilled. It's just like, don't talk about Ireland. Don't talk about fucking Ireland. It's like, what? Grandmaster Phil. Yes, I. Lucky you, I got work tonight. Oh, Graham, feel for you, mate. Football is all some people have. Years ago when I was 10, Bob, hold on, years when it was 10 bob to go to a match. Yeah, right, okay. And Gov did not care. Now the Gov knows they can influence people via football. And they can. Look at it used to be so much of a working class thing, didn't it? You could go ride on your bike, everyone would go together, have a fag in the pub, have a stout while you're talking about your favourite player. Maybe your favourite player would come and join you and have a crack with you. Now it's so detached. Look at him, practically $1 million vehicles, $1 million watches. I know it's an exaggeration, but it's not far off an exaggeration. $1 million lifestyles, won't be seen with the working class. Only if you manage to catch him on the street, and then they might have a quick selfie with you, but that's about it. You might get the odd player that might extend themselves more than that and humbleize themselves a really bit, but mainly no, they keep themselves in a big bubble that is staying away from the working class. But yet the working class keeps them there by pumping more money into the football teams, by spending 60 quid for a fucking average kit, by spending 60-70 pounds to go and pay for a ticket. So we're fools, because we actually do it. We actually do it. Scratch and sniff. Split stream. I have that in the morning. I have to dry the seat after. What? How's it going, Phil? Yes, Red Eye Jedi. Fine, mate. Let's talk about Brexit. Jesus. Or the lack of it. Don, I think it's so unfair the way English gets shouted down for being proud. It is. It certainly is. And it's not right. It's not right at all. It's only heightening people's sense of emotion and animosity, making it more acrimonious with just everyday relationships. It's going to heighten it. Look what the Brexit did. The Brexit divided people at the dinner table. What's going to happen when it starts getting to the race question, when it starts getting to the race replacement question? How's that going to split the dinner table? Fucking hell, it's going to split the buses, it's going to split the works, it's going to split everything. It's going to split car journeys, it's going to do everything. And you do feel it's coming. And what's making it happen? There's probably several factors. A little bit of spike ignorance, lack of balance, a little bit of media totally castigating people and not allowing people by keeping PC at its fucking most staunch, that it's stopping people having conversations, slamming people down. At the same time, something needs to be kept in check, because you can see through certain comment sections that some people have got a fucking screw loose when they're commenting. Propaganda, vote for Labour and get replaced. Fucking hell. Jesus, William. This is why I feel for people who feel like that. I do. I've got every ounce of sympathy for you. And I don't isolate myself from all the negative shit that's going on in this country. Don't think because I've got a darker skin tone than you that I think, oh, I'm all right. No, I don't. I look into the eyes of people, I read the comments, and I see social declines on all levels, done by all demographics. All. And it's not nice. It's not nice at all. I seen a stream of a chap that was a supporter of Tommy Robinson that is now chatting to members that are extreme in terms of they are literally talking about the great replacement, but at the same time very cleverly questioning prominent Jewish people, hence on a veil-like tip, questioning whether Hitler was actually right or wrong. And that was sad to see a young lad that has followed Tommy Robinson, believed in him, but because this movement has totally been obliterated, and because you could argue Tommy Robinson's not done much to really try and lift people's spirits, I'm going to say it as it is, considering he was the leader of the movement, and I'm not castigating, I'm just saying as it is, he's left people actually feeling so low. You've got this young lad now that is actually going to the extremes of the right, having conversations with the right, and actually saying to the right that the differences that my brand of right have got and your brand of right have got let's forget about them and work on the great replacement question. And I'm thinking, boy, now if that is not a significant stream I've just watched, fucking hell, pardon my French. I'm sorry, but there was something chilling going on there with that little union of people that was saying, let's forget our differences. One supports the Jews, one fucking hates the Jews, but let's just forget our differences because it's about the great replacement in this country. My God, if that's not a worrying development, I don't know what is. But I'm just looking at little key moments and I'm thinking there's a pattern forming here. Imagine broadcasting it up. Well, did you hear what Tommy did to Shazia? No, I haven't. I'm sick of the media blaming the Jews. It's not just the media, mate. I'm not, honestly, I never get into the Palestine Israeli argument. I just don't. Domestically, what's going on here has got no relevance to me in Israel. Israel, I guarantee, are not going to be talking about the social degradation going on in North Manchester. I guarantee you they're not. I guarantee you they won't be holding marches in the centre of fucking Tel Aviv, right, saying that Miles Platting is socially degraded and it needs building up. It won't, will it? It looks after its own interest, and quite rightly so. At the same time, I'm not saying I don't care about them. I'm not saying I don't care about Palestine. What I care about is what is going on socially and domestically in the country that I was born in. So it amazes me how all this argument is now split to whether you like Palestine or you like Israel. And it's what? We've had terrorism, we've got the slow drippings of racism creeping out, and now this oil boils down to whether I like Palestine or Israel, which, you know, it's like, really? Really? You're making more of it than it really needs to be. It's silly, because I will say this, when people talk about the trait of the Jewish people being kind of financially prowess, that is just the trait of the Jews, is it not? They work hard. The Chinese are academically on it. The Indians are academically on it. There's many races that academically are very fucking intelligent on an average level. There's some that's not so. But it don't mean to say there's not intelligent ones within them demographics as well. So you can't then use that as a tool to denigrate people. So let's denigrate everyone. Let's denigrate the Jews because what? They can add up better than we can, and because they can make money better than we can. So that means that because the Jews are in some form of prominent places in the world, that means the Jews are on a conspiratorial level running the whole fucking show. What about the Chinese? The Chinese are technologically killing it. They're killing everything. No one can touch them. Now, is that a conspiracy that the Chinese are working with the Jews? Or are the Jews in secret fights with the Chinese over fucking global supremacy? Or what about the Russians? Where do they come in that? It's a silly smearing that is really getting people off the actual basic point. Chinese steel technology. You are quite right. There's been plenty of intellectual technology that China has stole from the Americans and probably from us. And the Russians have probably done it. And probably, let's face it, probably we've done it. We've stole intellectual property at some point. There's probably been patents that have been robbed off people. And I'm not blaming us. I'm just saying, let's be fair. They all will do it. When you're talking about billions of pounds at stake, when you're talking about the first people to be able to release a certain set of technology, fucking stakes are high. You're going to get loads of the countries that are going to be on it. We've got to be realistic on that. You never see a black Chinese person. Crafty Cottner, I will totally disagree with that on the premise of, have you ever seen a Chinese yarder? I have. I've seen plenty of them, and I will say it, it is the most strangest thing to the eyes and to the ears, right? To watch. Guy with the facial features of someone from that part of Asia, dreadlocks, and talking patois. Fucking patois. Now, if you don't know what patois is the local dialect for the Caribbean. Not African, the Caribbean. So when I'm looking at the visual of a Chinese guy with dreadlocks, talking in total West Indian, to the point where he's talking full, broad, thick patois, when I'm even struggling, like, what the fuck did he just say then? I'm like, what? Something is messing with my senses here. So you do get it. Phil, there's a fight going on in your fish tank. Is there? Or is it the sharks? See, divide and conquer going on in there, look. I've got some angel fish and I've got some silver tip sharks. Before the angel fish went in, the silver tip sharks were the badasses. Since the angel fish have come in, nah, the sharks know the place now. But the sharks are mischievous. They're like young boys. They flit about the tank. They're very agile. They're freaking agile as fuck, pardon my French. So they're all over the place. Yes, War Kettle, how you doing, mate? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Whatever you do, don't get silver dollars. Well, listen, guys, I'm going to have to cut this stream shortly just because I've got my my youngest and my wife coming back from a netball and they're going to be busting in anytime soon. Yes, I'm great, Phil. Oh, Phil, today was 21 degrees. War Kettle, there's no need for that, mate. And I don't think you're going to be liked in this comment section for kind of rubbing it in like that. So all I'm going to say is that I'm probably saying that let's hope you don't get sand in between your white bits. In between the little crevices that may chafe, yeah? Let's hope you don't need the sunblock at the end of the day, War Kettle, okay? Yes, G-Cuts, Blackpool Boots, yes, Legacy of Empire, the greatest world ever known. The world has ever known. Have a good night, mate. Man, it was whole stones tonight. Not sure what you meant by that. Let me just get one last little thing, yeah? Just to show you, right? I'll leave it on this. Racism is a false construct. That it's sad that both black, white, Chinese, fucking Indo-Taiwanese, whatever, all buy into. Middle Eastern, they all buy into it, and it is a shame. But we're not stupid enough to buy into it. I'm not stupid enough to buy into it. So when some dickhead does a monkey chant, I feel more sorry for him than I do actually feel mad at him. That's how I feel. So, on the premise of making a negative into a positive, let me get something going. You know what that is? Yeah? Monkey screams. try to get the most optimum sound. I had it before, but I seem to have lost it. Oh, thank you. Anyway, guys, racism is false. We don't buy into it. We don't need it. Cutmaster fell on the wheels of steel. Yes. Yes. Monkey see, monkey do. Don't need that bullshit. Seriously. On content of character, not colour of skin. So for anyone to dehumanize you, for anyone to monopolize on the fact that they want to disqualify you, or they want to be more supreme in their way of thinking over you, over skin color, whether that's a black person thinking that over a white person, or a white over a black, or a Muslim over the fucking lot of them, pardon my French, it's not on. I'm not going to let it work, and I'm going to just scratch that shit out. So with that, guys, thank you, Crafty Cotnet. I'm hoping she's won. I am hoping she's won. Never mind them the bloke. Yes, mate. Yeah, mate, honestly, I'm not even affected by that. I just felt it was a good talking point. No, not at all. I really wanted to talk about a story, which I will do one time. At one point in my life, whilst I was in work, I was called a monkey to my face, and the guy didn't realize that I heard the conversation, because it was very, very strange. The guy was delivering paint on site to me. Let me just tell this very quickly and I'm going to get going. The guy was delivering paint on site to me. Now, in order to deliver the paint, he was given my phone number. So when he arrived on site to deliver the paint, he just rung my phone. Now, when I'm working, most people will know it when they ring me up. I have a pair of headphones in, so I'm hands-free, so I can still paint. So he rung me. I had my hands-free on. He goes, oh, paint here, I'm delivering. I was in the house. He was just coming up on the street. So what he didn't realise is that I had hands-free in. So I immediately let him know that I was coming out. Now, I'm assuming that he then felt that I'd rung off the phone. I'd not. I'd kept my hands-free on, which meant the phone was still live. But because my phone was in my pocket, there was no indication as I was walking out of the house, as I'm approaching his van, there was no indication to him that he could assume that I was still on that phone. Do you understand? Because all I had was an earpiece. I'd not said anything. I just literally walked out. As I was walking up to his vehicle, he looked through his window and goes, oh, monkey, like that. And I heard it. I heard it in the earpiece. His window wasn't open. His van was shut. This was only about 5 years ago. I got him out the van. You'd think I'd leave him on the floor. I didn't. I put my arm round him. Said, mate, did you just call me a monkey? He goes, no, mate, I didn't call you a monkey. I said, mate, I've just heard you on the phone. I've got the earpiece in. At that point, pardon the pun, he went as white as a fucking ghost, pardon my French. He didn't know where to look. He didn't know what to say, apart from, sorry, mate, I hold my hands up. At that point, my bosses got in touch with me and said, Phil, this is up to you how this is handled. At that point, his boss was informed. And his boss said to me, I am going to leave it up to you as to whether you want to get the police involved or not get the police involved, yeah? Carrots, exactly, Rose. A bit of a private joke. But you know what I done? I had a meeting a few days later, and I said to the guy, I'm not going to make you lose your job. I'm not even going to report this to the police. I'm going to give you a 10-minute guilt trip on how fucked up you was doing that to me. And by the time I left him, his head was like that. He had his job intact, and that was it done. I walked away. Don't want to see him again, as far as I'm concerned. He can say what he wants to say now. He can say I didn't mean it. He can say, oh, what, I was going, yeah, whatever. I know the colour of your gym, so don't try and pull that one, seriously. But that's fine. So I've had a bout of it, even in my work years, as well as the 70s. This shit's still live. But that doesn't make me bitter. It doesn't then make me work in a predominantly white arena and go, I fucking hate all these people. No, it doesn't. It just makes me think, you know what? There's some dark energy that are just biting the pill. They're drinking that Kool-Aid. I could drink that Kool-Aid. But you know what? I'd like to think I'm too clever to do that shit. So that's a short little story as to what can happen. That could have radicalized me. That could have made me go off on this white hating kind of manifesto and think, fuck them all. I'm over 30 years of age. I'm sick of getting this shit. I'm going to radicalize myself on black fucking power. No, I still think racism is a construct. Yes. So I'm going to go. Prove yourself to be a bigger and better person. Well, thank you. And you know what? I felt good for it. It feels frustrating because I wanted to leave him on the floor. I wanted to knock 10 bags of shit out of him because that's how you dealt with it back in the day. And people who used to say that to you back in the day wanted to do that to you if they could get their hands on you. So it's an automatic Isaac Newton thing. You know what I mean? Newtonian physics. Every action will have an opposite and equal reaction. I'm trying to just realize every time I'm getting bad energy, I ain't going to do the Newtonian physics. I'm off. Fuck that. I'm on a higher plane. I might feel like shit because I've not hit you. I might, not really. But ultimately, I feel a better person. I feel because I've not had that confrontation, because I've not had that violence in my life, it's not going to psychologically affect me. I can just roll on. Fuck them if they want to think like that. Anyway, guys, I've got to go. Love you all, even the pissing haters.